In this class, we are going to discuss about the theory of interference fringes. Theory of interference fringes. Theory of interference fringes. That is, we are going to derive an expression for the fringe width. In interference, as we said in the previous class, we can observe bright and dark fringes. So, now in this class, we are going to derive an expression for the width of a bright fringe or dark fringe. So, in the Young's experiment, as we learned, interference fringes are formed on the screen XY due to the superposition of two waves coming from two point sources S1 and S2, which are lying on the same wavefront of a wave generated by a monochromatic source. S is a monochromatic source of light. Monochromatic source means light having single frequency is called as monochromatic. A point source, here point source means which gives a spherical wavelength. Point source gives spherical wavelength. So, at a distance, an opaque sheet is placed on which two pinholes are made, S1 and S2. The pinholes serve as secondary sources of the monochromatic light. These two are lying on the same wavefront. So, the waves coming from S1 and S2 are having same frequencies, same wavelength and same phase. So, the superposition of these two waves coming from S1 and S2 gives interference in this region. Due to interference, alternate bright and dark fringes are formed because the definition of interference said that the redistribution of light intensity due to the superposition of two coherent waves is called interference. So the intensity is redistributed. In some places, the intensity becomes maximum, and in some other places it becomes minimum. The point at which constructive interference takes place, the intensity becomes maximum. The point at which destructive interference takes place, the intensity is zero. The vertical cross section of the interference pattern is observed on the screen as alternate bright and dark fringes. As alternate bright and dark fringes. These are all interference fringes. So now we are going to get an expression for the fringe width of either bright fringe or dark fringe. Further, the distance between the source and the screen is capital D, and the distance between S1 and S2 is Here this is small d. O is at the center of S1 and S2 on this tree. The distance between the point of observation P to the center O is equal to x. So the distance between O and R is small d, and also Q and O is also small d because the total distance is 2d. So the path difference between these two rays while meeting at a point P is given by S2P minus S1P. S2P minus S1P is the path difference. If you visualize a normal from S1 to this on this line S2P, then the excess distance travelled by the second ray, that is the ray from S2, gives the path difference. That is the difference between the path S2P and S1P. So this S2P minus S1P is calculated like this, as follows. S1P whole square is equal to d square plus x minus d whole square. Similarly, S2P whole square is equal to d square plus x plus d whole square. Therefore, S2P whole square minus S1P whole square is equal to x plus d whole square minus x minus d whole square. That is equal to 4xd. That is equal to 4xd. But S2P square plus S1P square is nothing but S2P plus S1P into S2P minus S1P is equal to 4xd. In case of addition, the small difference between these two lines is ignored. Therefore, S2P minus S1P is equal to 2d into S2P minus S1P is equal to 4xd gives S2P minus S1P is equal to 4xd by 2d. This is the path difference between the two lines. So, the aim of this topic is to determine or to get an expression for the fringe width. So now for that we are using the condition for constructive interference and the condition for destructive interference. So we know that constructive interference takes place if the path difference between the two interfering rays is equal to n lambda. If the path difference between the two interfering rays is equal to n lambda, then constructive interference takes place. That means S2P minus S1P must be equal to n lambda for constructive interference. Therefore, 4x d by 2d, 4x d by 2D is equal to n lambda is equal to n lambda. So x is equal to n lambda d by 2d. Therefore x is equal to n lambda d by 2d. So this is the expression for x. What is x? It is the distance of the nth fringe from the central fringe. So x1 is equal to lambda capital D by 2d. x2 is equal to 2 lambda capital D therefore x is equal to n into lambda into capital D by 2d. This is the small. Therefore x1 is equal to lambda d by 2d. x2 is equal to 2 into lambda d by 2d. Similarly, so on and so forth. So, the difference between x2 and x1 is equal to the difference between x2 and x1 is equal to lambda d by 2d. Lambda d by 2d. So the difference between these x2 and x1 gives the fringe width of the black fringe. The width of the black fringe. Why? Because in between two bright fringes there exists a dark fringe. Therefore, the width of the fringe is given by beta is equal to lambda d by 2d. Similarly, if we consider a black fringe instead of a bright fringe, then what is the change? The change is the path difference S2p minus S1p is equal to n plus half into lambda. So, by using this expression also, we will get beta is equal to lambda into d by 2t. By using this condition, we can get an expression for x1 and x2. Here, x1 and x2 are the positions of dark fringes. In the first case, they are the positions of the bright fringes. So, the distance between two successive dark fringes is also equal to lambda d by 2d. How do we get this? By means of x2 minus x1, applying the condition for destructive interference, and which is also equal to lambda d by 2d. By this it is clear that the fringe width of black fringe and the width of the bright fringe are the same. So, the interference fringes are having equal widths. The interference fringes are having equal widths. Let me repeat once again. We are going to discuss about the theory of interference fringes. When do we get interference fringes? We get interference fringes when two coherent waves are superposed on each other. We get interference. During interference, a fringe system is formed. They are alternate bright and dark fringes. The fringe system consists of alternate bright and dark fringes. As in case of Young's experiment, S is a point source of light, monochromatic source of light, which emits spherical wavelengths. S1 and S2 are two pinholes on an opaque surface which is placed in front of S. That means it is placed on a wavefront. Now S1 and S2 serves as secondary sources. The light coming from the secondary sources, or the light is monochromatic light, coherent light, not monochromatic, not only monochromatic, it is coherent light. Because the conditions for coherency are fulfilled for these two rays only. Because no two independent light sources are coherent sources. No two independent light sources cannot emit coherent light. That is, coherency is not possible by two independent lights because they differ in phase, even though the frequency is the same and the amplitude or the intensity is the same, but phase is different. So, we can say that these two rays are coherent if and only if the rays are having same amplitude, same frequency and same phase. So, in order to fulfill that condition, Young's and arrange this type of arrangement to get such a coherent sources. Now, the rays from S1 and S2 are coherent rays. S1 and S2 serves as sources of coherent light, coherent sources. Since these two rays are coherent rays, they will interfere in this region. So, on the right hand side of this opaque surface, the space is filled with the light which gives the interference effect. So, the cross section of the interference pattern is observed on the screen XY. The cross section of the interference pattern is observed on the screen XY. On the screen, we can see alternate bright and dark fringes. Dark fringe is formed at which the condition for destructive interference is fulfilled. bright fringe is formed at which the condition for constructive interference is fulfilled. In this way, there are bright and dark fringes on the screen. So, we are going to derive an expression for the fringe width, either bright fringe or dark fringe. We are going to derive an expression for the fringe width, and also we can show that both are having equal widths. That means the fringe width of the black fringe is equal to the fringe width of the bright fringe. To get that expression, here we can use the condition for constructive interference as well as the condition for destructive interference. So, in the first case, let us see what is happening during constructive interference. Constructive interference takes place at P when the path difference between these two rays is equal to n lambda. When the path difference between the two rays is equal to n lambda. If the path difference is equal to n lambda, we get constructive interference. That means we get a bright fringe. If the path difference is equal to n plus or minus half into lambda, we get a condition for destructive interference. That means we get a dark fringe. So, we are going to find the expression for the path reference. So, what is the path reference between S1P and S2P? Path reference is nothing but the difference in path, the difference in the distances travelled by the two rays while reaching the point P. The difference in the distances travelled by the two rays while reaching the point P is called as path reference. And it is represented as S2P minus S1P. From simple geometry, S1P whole square is equal to D square plus X minus D whole square. Similarly, S2P whole square is equal to D square plus X plus D whole square. Therefore, S2P whole square minus S1P whole square is equal to X plus D whole square minus X minus D whole square, which is equal to 4SD. So, the path reference between these two rays is equal to 4XD. Here, 2D is the distance between S1 and S2. It is taken as 2D for convenience only. The distance between the screen and the source S1 and S2 is capital D. So, S2P plus S1P is really equal to 2D in case of addition. Therefore, this is equal to 2D into S2P minus S1P, which is equal to 4XD. Therefore, the path reference is equal to 4XD by 2D, that is equal to 3XD by 2D. By using this expression, by equating this path reference, 2XD by D, 2XD by D is equal to n lambda, we will get the expression for x1, x2, x3, etc. What is x1? x1 is the distance of the first bright fringe. What is x2? x2 is the distance from the central fringe. The distance of the second bright fringe. Similarly, x3, so on and so forth. So, the difference between x2 and x1 gives the fringe width. The difference between x2 and x1 gives the fringe width and is represented with beta. So, we can find that this beta is equal to lambda d by 2d. If this path reference, the condition for this path reference satisfies the condition for destructive interference, that is, if this is equal to n plus half into lambda, then x gives the point at which the dark fringe is situated. That is, x1 is the distance between O and first dark fringe. x2 is the distance between the central fringe and the second dark fringe. Like that. In this also, we can find x2 minus x1, which is equal to, again, lambda into capital D by 2d. That means the width of the bright fringe is equal to the width of the dark fringe. That means interference fringes are having equal widths. Now, let us discuss the conditions for interference of light. The conditions for interference of light. The conditions for interference of light. The conditions are classified into 3 types. 1. Condition for sustained interference, and the second one, condition for the observation of fringes. The third one, condition for good contrast between maximum and minimum. What is the first point? Condition for sustained interference. Here, sustained means stable interference. That means the interference pattern is to be stationary. So, we will get a sustained interference pattern, a constant view of interference pattern if and only if the two sources are coherent. The two sources should be coherent. Unless interference may take place, but we can't observe the fringes. The second point is, to get this type of interference, to get this sustained interference, the two sources must emit light continuously. The two sources should emit light continuously. Then only we can observe sustained interference pattern. The second one is the condition for observation of fringes. We can observe fringes clearly if and only the bright and dark fringes are resolved. So, for this, Since the fringe width beta is equal to lambda d by 2d should be small. Beta is equal to the fringe width beta is equal to lambda d by 2d. If 2d is very small, beta is large. So, we can easily find the value of beta. So, for good observation of the fringe, beta should be large. This is possible if 2d is small. Also, if d is large, then also we will get the condition, the beta as large. But this is not desirable because if d increases, the intensity decreases. But to get large values of beta, d should be large. And the third condition for the good observation of the fringes is dark background. That means the other light, that is scattered light, is to be prevented. Then only we can observe the bright and dark fringes very clearly. So, what we need for good observation? What we do for good observation of the fringes? We have to choose 2d as small as possible. We have to choose capital D as large as possible. And also, the entire experiment is to be done in black background. Then only we can observe fringes. For sustained interference, we need coherent source, two coherent sources, and they should emit light continuously. For good observation, we have to fulfill these 3 points. And the third condition is the condition for good contrast. That means a good separation between bright and dark fringes. A good separation between bright and dark fringes. This is possible if dark is perfectly dark. That means the amplitude must be 0 at dark fringe. So, this is possible if if and only the two interfering waves are having equal amplitudes. If they are having equal amplitudes, say A1 is equal to A and A2 is equal to A, then the sum of the resultant amplitude A1 plus A2 is equal to 2A means intensity is equal to 4A square. The difference is A1 minus A2 is equal to 0. So, the brightness is increased by 4 times and the darkness is a perfectly dark. So, if the two interfering rays are having the same amplitude, we will get a good contrast. and also the two rays must be monochromatic rays. So, the three conditions for interference are: 1. Condition for getting sustained interference. 2. Conditions for good observation of fringes. 3. Condition for good contrast between bright and dark.